Hello everyone, and welcome to my BNB CBS Daily Update channel. Is Nick Newman finally ready to trade his hero persona for a prison cell, or has the trauma of a dead man's return pushed him over the edge? You have to wonder if this murder plot is really born out of a father's love, or if the fentanyl in his system is doing the talking. We need to talk about this because we're diving deep into the total psychological mess of Nick's plan to use a detective as a hitman. Genoa City is basically a giant cloud of paranoia right now. It's like a noir thriller where everyone is looking over their shoulder. The return of Matt Clark, who's now calling himself Mitch Bacall, has acted like a psychological bomb for the whole Newman family. For those of you who might have missed the history, Matt Clark isn't just some random villain. He is the person who reminds the Newmans of all their biggest failures. He's back, and things are getting ugly. This whole situation exploded because the story needed something to strip Nick of his usual good guy image. When Noah Newman almost died in that car crash, it bypassed Nick's brain and went straight to his gut. This isn't just about a car accident. It's about the terrifying realization that the Newman legacy is being hunted by a ghost they thought they buried way back in 2001. Nick Newman has always been the stable brother. He's the one who usually looks at Victor and Adam like they're the crazy ones. But look at him now. He isn't just planning a fight, he's plotting a cold-blooded execution. And the crazy part? He wants to do it under the cover of the law. Nick is choosing this dark path because his ego can't handle being a victim. He's spent years trying to stay away from Victor's ruthless way of doing things. Yet, the second his son is in danger, he turns into a version of Victor that's probably even more dangerous. Why? Because Nick actually thinks he's being righteous. Internally, Nick is drowning. He couldn't protect Noah from that crash, and he definitely can't protect himself from the painkillers he's hooked on. This murder plot is just a desperate attempt to feel like he has power again. He wants to be the hero, but he's picking up the tools of a villain to get there. It's like a suicide of the soul. By bringing Detective Burrow into this, Nick isn't just trying to kill Matt Clark. He's trying to kill the part of himself that feels weak and helpless. Honestly, Nick's plan is a total disaster in the making. Think about it. He really believes he can trust a shady detective he just met to lie for him in a murder trial. That's the kind of logic only someone struggling with addiction would think makes sense. He is basically giving Burrow the keys to his life, and he's too angry to see the handcuffs waiting for him. This is a classic case of avoiding your real problems. Nick has a huge crisis with his addiction, but instead of dealing with the chemicals in his brain, he's projecting all that rage onto Matt Clark. He thinks if he kills Matt, the nightmare ends. But the real nightmare is inside him. Now, let's talk about Detective James Burrow. Matt Cohen is playing this guy with a don't trust me vibe that is absolutely perfect. Nick thinks he's found an ally, but we're all sitting here seeing a predator. Burrow showed up right when the police force lost its moral center, Chancellor. That created a huge opening, and a guy like Burrow, who doesn't always play by the rules, is happy to step in. He isn't just a cop, he's a mirror for Nick's desperation. What is Burrow actually feeling? He seems so cold and detached. While Nick is a raw nerve, Burrow is a professional. You can almost see him being amused by the Newmans. These titans of industry are just scared parents that he can play with. Think of Burrow as the ultimate enabler. He's the easy way out for Nick. He's the fix that promises to make the problem vanish without the hard work of a real investigation. I'm calling it now, Burrow is the most dangerous person in Genoa City right now. He doesn't care about the Newman name. He's playing his own game, and Nick is walking right into a trap. Nick is projecting authority onto Burrow just because he has a badge, even though the guy hasn't even shown an official ID yet. It's classic gaslighting. Then we have the resurrection of Matt Clark. Bringing him back is a huge test for us as an audience. I mean, the guy died in 2001. But in terms of the drama, it's a brilliant way to tear Nick apart. Matt Clark being back as Mitch Bacall is a thematic invasion. He represents a past the Newmans thought they could buy their way out of. His amnesia is the perfect shield. It forces everyone to deal with him as he is now, even though they're still bleeding from who he used to be. Can you imagine the horror Sharon and Nick felt seeing that face? It's not just anger, it's a deep, bone-shaking fear. They're worried their kids will never be safe from the sins they committed years ago. That kind of fear makes you do insane things, like planning a hit in a coffee shop. Matt Clark is like a living trauma. He doesn't even have to do anything active to cause damage. Just being there makes Nick relapse and makes Adam start spying for Victor. He's a virus in the Newman system. I actually love that they didn't just bring him back as a standard bad guy. Making him an amnesiac who's trying to find himself while maybe being controlled by a dirty cop adds such a cool noir layer. It forces the Newmans to be the ones attacking, which is way more interesting. Nick is suffering from a specific kind of bitterness. He's mad at the universe for letting his tormentor survive. That bitterness is the engine for this whole murder plot. While Nick is falling apart, Adam and Victor are trying to circle the wagons, but they're making things worse. Adam was the first to see Nick was using again. He knows the signs of a dark turn because he's been there. His concern for Nick is real, but let's be honest, it's also a way for Adam to prove he's the good son to Victor. He's using Nick's crisis to move up the family ladder. Victor is torn. He likes the strike-hard attitude when it comes to Matt Clark, but he knows Nick is a total liability right now. The weight on Victor is massive. He might have to take his own son out of the game just to prevent a murder. The Newman family is basically a broken shield. Instead of fighting the actual threat, they're fighting each other. It's a civil war disguised as a rescue mission. Adam is actually the voice of reason here, which is weird to say. He's the only one looking at the facts. If he doesn't stop Nick, the family is going to lose him to prison. Victor's way of handling this is just to demand control, but he can't connect with Nick emotionally. That distance is exactly what's pushing Nick toward drug dealers and shady cops. Speaking of people who actually know how to handle a threat, we have to talk about Phyllis Summers. She's the queen of chaos for a reason. While the guys are busy with their egos, Phyllis is doing the actual work. Her realizing that Mitch is Matt Clark is the turning point. She doesn't have a hero complex. She just knows Matt is a monster. Phyllis is feeling that mix of I told you so and total panic. She's seen enough horror in her life and she's not going to let Sharon fall into another trap. Her protective streak is her best quality, even if it usually helps her out too. Phyllis is the ultimate wildcard. While Nick is planning a direct attack that's probably going to fail, Phyllis is setting a Phyllis trap. It'll be subtle and manipulative, and honestly, way more effective than a fake shooting. I'd trust her with a life or death plan way before I'd trust Nick right now. She knows how to live in the gray areas without losing her mind. Nick is trying to be a virtuous murderer, and that contradiction is going to get him destroyed. Things are about to get much worse. Nick isn't just talking anymore, he's looking for the means to do it while he's high. He's meeting drug dealers and trying to coordinate with Burrow at the same time. The tension isn't just about Matt Clark anymore. It's a three-way standoff between Nick's addiction, his rage, and the people who are probably going to put him in jail. Nick is a loose cannon in a room full of gunpowder. His plan assumes Burrow doesn't have his own agenda, but we already know Burrow is tied to the villain side of things. Nick is literally inviting his enemy's friend to watch him commit a crime. I'm predicting that Nick's trap is going to snap shut on his own leg. Burrow isn't going to help him. He's going to record the whole thing and use it to blackmail Nick. Nick is going to end up as a puppet for the very people he's trying to kill. And Matt Clark? That amnesia is going to vanish the second he has Nick exactly where he wants him. This isn't a story about a man finding his past. It's about a man using his past to destroy the future of everyone we care about. Nick thinks he's taking the lead, but he's just being led to the slaughter. So, let's get into it. Do you think Nick is actually capable of pulling the trigger? Or is the fentanyl just making him talk big? And what about Detective Burrow? Is he a true villain, or is there some righteous reason for his shoddiness that we haven't seen yet? I want to know your theories. Is Nick headed for a comeback or a prison cell? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you're enjoying this deep dive, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our Genoa City updates. Hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when things explode. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. The funny thing about the Newmans is that they always think they can control the narrative. They think money and power can bury any secret. But Matt Clark is the living proof that some things just won't stay buried. Nick is trying to play a game he doesn't understand. He's dealing with professionals like Burrow and Mitch while he can barely keep his own head straight. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You want to look away, but you can't. Because we all know that when the Newmans fall, they fall hard. And this time, it might be for good. Let's look closer at the shadow room. That's where this is all going down. It's a place for trafficking, for secrets, and for people like Mitch to hide in plain sight. Nick thinks he can just walk in there and fix things. But he's walking into a world where he has no authority. He's just another guy looking for a fix, and Mitch knows exactly how to use that. The psychological layer here is so thick. Nick's insecurity is driving every move. He feels like he's lost his place in the family. He feels like he's failed as a father. And instead of looking in the mirror, he's looking for a target. It's tragic, really. The role of Victor in all this is so classic. He's trying to be the boss, but his sons are grown men with their own demons. He can't just order them to be better. He's trying to set his own risky trap for Matt, but he might end up losing Nick in the process. It's a high-stakes poker game where the currency is human lives. And Adam? Adam is in such a weird spot. He's finally the one trying to do the right thing, but nobody trusts him because of his own history. It's like the boy who cried wolf, except this time the wolf is actually at the door and he's the only one who sees it. And what about Sharon? She's been through so much. To have this ghost from the past come back and threaten her son is her worst nightmare come to life. She's trying to be the voice of reason, but she's terrified. You can see it in her eyes every time she talks to Nick. She knows he's slipping away, and she doesn't know how to pull him back. It's heart-wrenching. The emotional stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just soap opera drama, it's a study in how trauma can wreck a family from the inside out. We have to keep an eye on Burrow's partner, Annie Stewart. We know she's involved in the investigation of the shadow room, but is she as shady as Burrow? If Nick thinks he has one detective on his side, he might actually have a whole team of people ready to take him down. He's outnumbered and outmatched, but he's too high on rage and painkillers to realize it. It's a recipe for disaster. Every sentence Nick says right now feels like a micro cliffhanger. I have a plan, he says. But we all know his plans never go the way he thinks. Matt Clark's return is really the ultimate suspend disbelief moment, like the head writer said. But if you can get past the how, the why is fascinating. It's about the return of pure, unadulterated malice. Matt Clark doesn't want money. He doesn't want the company. He just wants to see the Newmans suffer. And right now, he's winning. He's already got Nick plotting a murder. Think about that. The good son is planning a hit. Mitch hasn't even had to pull a trigger yet, and he's already destroyed Nick's morality. That's true villainy. Is there any hope for Nick? Maybe if he can get clean and face the truth. But as long as he's looking for a shortcut through Detective Burrow, he's just digging his own grave. It's a dark path, and the light at the end of the tunnel is looking more and more like an oncoming train. We're all just waiting for the moment the hammer drops. Will it be Victor who stops him? Will it be Phyllis? Or will Nick actually go through with it and change his life forever? The suspense is killing me. I honestly wonder how the fans who remember the original Matt Clark are feeling right now. Seeing Roger Howarth take on this role is such a trip. He brings this unpredictable energy that makes the amnesia story actually creepy. You never know if he's telling the truth or if he's just playing a very long game. It keeps us on our toes, and it definitely keeps the Newmans on theirs. The LA Noire vibe is such a good fit for this. It feels grittier, darker, and more dangerous than the usual Genoa City drama. Don't forget the engagement questions I asked earlier. I really want to hear what you think about Burrow. Is he just a guy trying to make a buck, or is there a deeper connection to Mitch that we haven't seen? And Nick, Do you think he's gone too far to be redeemed? This feels like a point of no return for him. If he actually tries to kill Matt, he's not the Nick Newman we've known for 30 years. He's something else. Something much darker. This whole arc is a reminder of why we love these shows. It's about history, family, and the secrets that never stay buried. It's about the struggle to be a good person in a world that keeps trying to pull you down. Nick is at the center of that struggle right now, and it's not looking good for him. But that's what makes for great TV, right? The uncertainty. The danger. The feeling that anything could happen at any moment. I'm going to be watching every episode with my notes ready, because this is the kind of story that has layers upon layers. We haven't even seen the full extent of Victor's risky strategy yet. You know, when Victor gets bossy, things are about to get intense. He doesn't do anything small. If he's going after Matt Clark, he's going to use every resource he has. But will he be too late to save Nick? That's the real question. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next update on this. Things are moving fast, and we're going to be here to break it all down for you. From the Shadow Room to the Newman Ranch, we're covering it all. I love doing these deep dives with you guys. Your theories in the comments always give me a new perspective on what might happen next. So keep them coming. Let's wrap this up with a thought on the Newman legacy. Victor has spent his whole life building this empire for his children. But if his children are falling apart, what was it all for? Nick is the one who was supposed to be the moral one. If he goes down for murder, the legacy is tarnished in a way that no amount of money can fix. It's the ultimate tragedy for Victor Newman. He can beat any business rival, but he can't beat the darkness inside his own son. One last thing, keep an eye on Patty Williams. Jack is trying to manipulate her to use against Victor, but Patty is the definition of a wild card. She could easily end up blowing up everyone's plans, including Jack's. It's another fuse on a bomb that's already ticking. There are so many moving parts to this story right now, it's incredible they can keep it all straight. But that's why we watch. It's the ultimate puzzle. Thanks again for watching and for being part of this community. I love talking soaps with you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It really helps the channel out and ensures you never miss a spoiler. Stay tuned, because Genoa City is about to get even crazier. I'll see you in the next video for more analysis and more drama. Take care of yourselves, and keep watching. Think about the way Nick talks to Burrow. It's almost like he's looking for a father figure who will tell him it's okay to be bad. Victor tells him what to do, but Burrow offers him a way to get what he wants. That's a dangerous dynamic. Nick is vulnerable, and Burrow is exploiting that. It's a masterclass in manipulation. And as an audience, we're just hoping Noah wakes up and tells everyone the truth before Nick does something he can't take back. Wait, did you catch the part where Nick is actually meeting with a drug dealer? That's a huge escalation. He's not just detoxing anymore. He's actively seeking out the very thing that's destroying him. It shows how far gone he really is. He thinks he can handle it, but he's playing with fire. And we all know what happens when you play with fire, especially in Genoa City. You get burned. I'm also curious about Sienna Bacall. She's stuck between a husband she's terrified of and a lover who's in a coma. She has no allies except maybe Sharon and Nick, and even they are focused on their own problems. Her fate is hanging in the balance, and she might be the key to the whole thing. If she tells the truth about Mitch, it could change everything. But she's scared. And who wouldn't be? Alright, I'm really signing off now. But seriously, go to the comments and tell me, is Burrow an imposter? There are theories out there that he's not even a real cop. Can you imagine? Nick plotting a murder with a fake detective? That would be the twist of the century. I'll be reading all your thoughts. See you soon. The idea of shades of gray is so important here. Matt Cohen said in his interview that he likes playing a character who doesn't know right from wrong. That's exactly what Burrow is. He's not a mustache-twirling villain, he's a guy making decisions in the moment based on what benefits him. That makes him so much more grounded and scary. He's the guy you think is your friend until he's testifying against you. And Nick? Nick is trying to paint his world in black and white. He's the good guy, Matt is the bad guy. But by deciding to commit murder, he's throwing himself into the deepest shade of gray there is. He's losing himself. And the sad part is, he's doing it all for a son who would probably be horrified by what his father is planning. Noah wants justice, not another murder. We also have to consider the impact of Mitch on the rest of the town. If word gets out that Matt Clark is alive, everyone who was ever hurt by him is going to come out of the woodwork. It could turn into a total free-for-all. Imagine if Nikki gets involved, or Victoria. The Newmans are a tight-knit group when they want to be, but this might be the thing that finally breaks them apart. I'm fascinated by the Matt trap Phyllis is setting. She's always been the best at playing the long game. She knows that you don't beat a guy like Matt with a gun, you beat him with his own weaknesses. She's going to use his amnesia against him, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. It's going to be a battle of the wits, and my money is on Phyllis Summers every single time. This story really feels like it's honoring the history of the show while pushing it into new, darker territory. It's a balance that's hard to strike, but they're doing it. The stakes feel real, the emotions are raw, and the consequences seem permanent. That's the gold standard for a soap opera storyline. We're in for a wild ride, and I'm glad we're all on it together. One last engagement question for the road: if you were Sharon, what would you do? Would you trust Victor's risky plan, or would you try to handle Matt yourself? Sharon has a history of taking things into her own hands, and it usually ends up being pretty dramatic. I wonder if she has one more trick up her sleeve to save her family. Okay, now for real, I'm out. Don't forget to check back for our next video where we'll talk about the fallout from Nick's meeting with the drug dealer. It's going to be a big one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe, soap fans. Wait, one more thought. Think about the title, Detective Burrow. A burrow is something you hide in. It's a hole. Is he hiding his true identity? Is he digging a hole for the Newmans? The name itself feels like a clue. In Soapland, nothing is a coincidence. Every name, every location, every choice is intentional. And Burrow is a very specific name. He's a guy who works in the shadows, and right now, the shadows are where the real story is happening. The Shadow Room, Detective Burrow, Mitch Bacall, it all feels like pieces of a puzzle that Nick Newman just can't solve. He's trying to force the pieces together, but they just don't fit. And the harder he tries, the more he breaks. It's a tragic arc for one of our favorite characters, but it's also some of the best acting we've seen from Joshua Morrow in years. He's really bringing the pain and the desperation to life. Alright, I'm done. Really? Go comment. I'll see you there. Bye for now. Seriously though, the whole fentanyl thing is so heavy. It's a real-world issue that they're bringing into this fictional world, and it adds a layer of weight that you don't always get in soaps. It makes Nick's struggle feel so much more urgent. It's not just a plot point, it's a life-or-death situation. And seeing how it's clouding his judgment is both fascinating and terrifying. It's a brave choice by the writers. Okay, I'm actually leaving now. See you in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. It really helps us keep bringing you these deep dives. Peace out.